another dollar. How's it going, everybody? My name is Infamous Isaac, and I'm here with a video on Better Call Saul Season 3. I'm going to be going through how I feel about this season, and then after this video is done, I'm going to be going into Season 4. It's only 2 seasons left after that. Well, actually, no. It's only 3 seasons left after that because I haven't started Season 4 yet. Yeah, so my opinions on this season, I'm not gonna praise it. You could probably tell already by the title, but I I didn't think this one was as good as season one, but it was good. At the end of the day, any Better Call Saul season that I'm gonna watch, I have no doubt that it's going to be better than most shows that I watch. Period. So a lower rating than like what, a 9 is better than most shows peak in general. So I'm gonna give it a 7. At its worst, I was like, all right, I'm kind of bored right now. I'll give it a 6. But at its best, it was an 8, wholeheartedly. So I'm just gonna split the difference and give it a 7 because it had its high moments, it had its low moments. I feel like this one had less high moments than season two because it was more slow burn. It took more of that slow burn approach. But I won't go into it too much for spoilers because this is supposed to be like the, oh, here, take your review and rating and all that. Now you can go, unless if you want to watch it again later, but whatever. But yeah, for the people that want to stay, who don't care about spoilers or who have watched it, I'm gonna get into the nitty gritty. So let's get into it. The first thing I want to talk about though is this season. It was a long one. It had longer episodes than usual, but it still had the same amount. But honestly, it was taken up mostly by that trial section in the middle and just about Jimmy. Honestly, it was well, like of course, it's Better Call Saul. It's gonna be about James McGill, but this was more about Jimmy than it was about Mike. Even though like he had really important stuff, I cannot overstate that. Mike had really, and I mean really important stuff in this because we met Gustavo Fring this season. This is the first time we've seen him in the show. We see him basically get connections with him, start building up trust and all that. We get to see I forgot her name, but the girl from season 5, season 4, something like that, who was what's his dude's name? Gustavo's supplier. I think that's the word, supplier. But we see her, we see more of Hector Salamanca and all them. See how bad the tie between him and Gustavo is. We see all of them. We see a couple more people introduced from Eladio's side, and you see all that, right? We see all of the Breaking Bad side get built up more and more. So it's like, oh, this is sick. This is fire. And then we have Saul's side, or excuse me, Jimmy's side, where it's basically Chuck and his relationship is being strained, bro. Completely strained because Chuck is going to take him to court because Jimmy just admitted to a felony and Kim is going to help out Jimmy. And now it's just like Jimmy actually outplays him because they go to court. It's a whole episode. It's literally chicanery. Episode 5. It's hilarious. But that episode was good. It was a good court drama, but it could be a little slow. Like if I were to introduce this show to somebody, I would introduce them with this episode. But that doesn't mean that you don't have good moments in this episode. Like chicanery, the title itself says the good moment in the episode where Chuck literally has a mental breakdown, and not because like, oh, I'm preying on Chuck's downfall. It's more like, oh, that moment was so well done by the actors in the show itself. Like it was so well shot, and I really liked how it was shot in the beginning where they're doing the court proceedings and it's Jimmy and Kim walking in while they're talking over it. Like it's so cool. And then you have the next episode following that where you have Rebecca showing up. You have her showing up through that footage. And it's super sick because it's just like they're so good at shooting these shots, man. It's like it's an actual movie. It's so awesome. But episode 4 was a really good episode because a showing of Hector Don Eladio, Bolsa, I forgot his name, but he they show up, right, and they're giving their money, their earnings, right, and Hector, he's on his own basically. He's the Salamanca family, and then you have Bolsa who's representing Gustavo, and it's like, oh shoot, all right, cool, cool, cool. And you see Gustavo's making mad bread because he has the Pollos Hermanos establishment and he's getting more and more business basically. He's going into other avenues. And Hector's like, oh shoot, this is disrespect. And this causes problems. This causes problems between him and Eladio and everybody basically. He's basically ousting himself as his own family now. He hates what's his dude's name? He hates Gustavo because he never respected him ever. Even when he first met him, even when he killed his friend, even now that he's doing better than him, he never respected Gustavo. Or excuse me, even now that Gustavo is doing better than him, that's what I'm trying to say. He never respects him ever. So this happening where he's making more money than Hector, it's like, oh shoot, he feels disrespected, completely disrespected because Don Eladio now is favoring Gustavo. So it's like, oh shoot, all right, this is it. I feel disrespect. And on top of that, you have Ignacio or Nacho trying to kill Hector. It's like you have all these plots going around. You have Mike just being crazy, just trying to work out orders from other people and all that, getting his money while trying to protect his wife, or not his wife, excuse me, his son's wife and his granddaughter. There you go. He's trying to do that, and it's just one thing I have to mention is that the character writing in this show is crazy. It's actually crazy. I don't know. I don't even know if I could say it's better than Breaking Bad because it's hard to say that. It's genuinely hard, but in some instances it really can be. It's so good. Like with Jimmy, there's a scene I think in episode 9 or episode 10 where him and Chuck are talking, and it's just Jimmy going up to apologize to him, and Chuck just is brutally honest, saying like, "Oh shoot, Jimmy, I'm gonna be honest with you. I never truly cared about you that much, and how I Jimmy's emotions aren't like it's not like Chuck saying they're fake. It's the fact that he understands that they're real, but it's that he's a relapsing addict and that he's going to do it again. He's always going to be slipping Jimmy, and it's like wow, that's a deep understanding of your brother that no one else can have except for you." And that's like it's messed up because it's true. It's generally true, but it's just the way that he goes about it. He Chuck is one of the reasons why Slippin' Jimmy is always there because he's not helping his brother. He thinks he's helping his brother, but he's helping him in the cruelest way possible by trying to put him in a jail through the justice system. Chuck is literally lawful good to the point where it's detrimental. He's not helping his brother in the sympathetic path. He's helping him in the justice path. And it's like that doesn't help. That isn't helping him. Like getting him out of jail helped him, and he tried to go the lawyer's path, but you didn't help him. You didn't help him in the right sense. When he got his degree, what did you do? You didn't help him at all. It's like Chuck could have taken steps to help Jimmy. That is undoubtedly, or that is undoubt. He could have helped him. Is what I'm trying to say, but he didn't. He didn't help him in other ways that would have helped Jimmy, progress to being a normal, clean lawyer. But granted, I'm looking at this through the hindsight 2020 type thing, because at the end of the day, I wouldn't be able to say this if I didn't know what would have happened, because that's a hard decision to make. You can't change people in the way that they act, unless if you have the the foresight to see how you can change him. And Chuck didn't. Of course he wouldn't. He's human. He's fallible. But Jimmy being the one to help him out all the time and get him his groceries and just help him while he was down. It's like, does that not matter to you? There was no ulterior motive behind that. That was generally just Jimmy being a good brother, trying to help out his older brother who's going through something. It's just like, wow, shoot, man. But don't get me wrong, Jimmy is not perfect either. Jimmy, if as a matter of fact, he's evil in this season. He is down horrendous in the evil path right now, with especially the last couple episodes, the last two episodes being the biggest example where Jimmy literally uses an old lady to get his money. It's so messed up. So messed up. It was evil, bro. And I'm glad Aaron kind of exposed that in the last episode because shoot, man, somebody needed to. Jimmy was just gonna keep doing it, and even he admits it himself. Like, if nobody, well, he didn't say it directly, but I believe that if nobody stopped him, he would have kept going completely. He would have ruined that poor old lady's life. And he notices it too. He generally notices it because he just keeps thinking about it. Like, I just ruined an old lady's social life for my own personal benefit. I am evil. Like, it's crazy. He is so messed up when he goes into like the Better Call Saul and the Slippin' Jimmy route. I just wish he was more like James McGill, where he's the good guy. He does some messed up things to be the good guy, but he's the good guy. Here, there's no good intentions. There's no noble intentions whatsoever. Slip and Jimmy and Saul Goodman are not noble people. James McGill is, because at least he has noble intentions. Even if he does it in some evil ways, he's trying to help people at the end of the day. The elder law person, not the con artist or the criminal lawyer. Those are not the good people. And it's like it sucks, man. But it's also really good character writing, like really, really good character writing. Because it's different sides to the same person. This is one person, but there's so much nuance to him. Even more nuance to Walter White, like even more than him, which is crazy to think about because literally Walter White was an evil man who was once good, but you see his pride and his ego. You see all that come through, and then you have what's his dude's name? James, Jimmy McGill over here, who has his pride as well, but it's not ego. It's not complete ego like Walt was. He actually cared for his people, you know? It wasn't about getting money yet anymore or at all, but then at some point it did turn into that because he needed it. He was working himself ragged, messed up his back for money to help out Kim. It's like, wow, shoot, man, this is crazy. This is genuinely crazy. But Mike and Jimmy, best character writing in the entire show, besides like Baby Gustavo and Ignacio. Like there's so many good characters in this show. Really good writing, really fleshed out. Like in Breaking Bad, you have Jesse and Walt. I guess you could say Skylar. You could give her a bone. She did have some good character writing. You have Hank. You have again Gustavo, and it's just taking those characters and making them better with more story. Like it's giving them more background, more context, right? And it's just like, man, that's fire. That's so fire. I mess with it. These characters this season definitely showed me how good the character writing can be. Because oh my goodness, it was just depth, depth to all characters. So much substance. It was awesome. But at the same time, I was just bored through some parts. Like some parts, like excuse me, the courts. I was just bored throughout my mind the whole time. I was just like, dang. All right. I know this has great story implications, but at the same time, it's 45 to 50-minute episodes of just court drama for sometimes. I can't take that all the time. Sometimes I do just want to see Mike. And it's not like he isn't interspliced in between the court dramas, but this season I was more interested in Mike than I was in Jimmy. That's for certain. And whether that's because of the Breaking Bad character showing up again or not, who knows? But I hope Jimmy has more next season, like not just core drama, but more to do with the story. Even though at the end of the day it's his story. The negatives for me is just I was bored through some parts. Like the core drama just got to be too much for me. But at the end of the day, the good parts were there. The bad parts to me were just boring. But that's all it really is. That's all it really is. But I'm gonna end it here for now. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. And I'll check y'all next time when I talk about season 4 of Better Call Saul. We're getting close. We're getting close to finishing this. 3 seasons up, 3 seasons gone. So I'll see you all later. Peace. Alright, so I forgot to mention one thing in this video, and it was Chuck's. Well, okay, spoilers by the way. Spoilers for people who are still watching. This will get answered in an episode, but if you don't care, then you don't care. But I just want to warn you, spoilers, all right? But Chuck's apparent death, right? So I got spoiled on it a little bit because I got interested in the lore, I guess in the history, and it just showed up like, oh, Chuck, he got pieced up. I didn't watch it, but now I do like, oh shoot, yeah, he's gonna die. But his death was crazy, like genuinely crazy. I didn't get to talk about it in the video because I forgot, and also I didn't eat breakfast, so I was kind of running low on brain power. But his death was crazy. His death was actually crazy, bro. Because my man genuinely went insane. It wasn't the electricity anymore. It was generally just he just went insane, bro. I it Because it's hard to tell because at least before when the electricity sensitivity was there, he wasn't crazy. He was still himself. But then because of how everybody was treating him and how he was basically treated as crazy, it got to him and then he just snapped. He generally just snapped. And then he cut off Jimmy. So it's just like I don't think he purposely killed himself, but he definitely led to his own death for sure. All of his actions and some of Jimmy's, but both of them are at fault. Jimmy and Chuck are both at fault for sure. There's no doubt about that. They're both good but also bad people. Chuck isn't a saint. No way, no how. That man used his power and abused it, especially in the last couple episodes where he sued Hamlin, and McGill. Like, you didn't need to do that, bro. You could have just retired, but your pride was too much. Your pride was way too much. It's just like, wow. Alright, look at you. And now this is where he lays, in his house. It was crazy. Like it was actually the way it looked too. It was messed up, really messed up. But yeah, I again can't wait to see season 4, and I'm gonna end it here for now. So peace.